And welcome back to Music Free Gaming here on YouTube and my ongoing solo series, Going Solo. You are awesome and amazing. And I've got all sorts of fun stuff to do today. Starting here in the tunnel by my stonemason hut because it's awesome, and I wanted to show you the the entrance that we built on stream the other day. It's kind of basic, but I think it works out all right. And, oops, surprisingly enough, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, go ahead and close my very high-tech piston door. And one of the things I'm going to do today is I want to build a new auto furnace because my smelter is okay, but it's small and it takes a long time to refuel after I cook up a lot of stuff, which is fine for small things, but if I want to cook a lot of stuff, I need a bigger furnace. So, step one was to build the bone meal farm. Okay, I suppose technically it's a moss farm, but it's gonna be for bone meal for me. So, I'll kick this sucker on, and I have it set so it dumps all sorts of stuff outside through a pipe. And then I decided to bring the outside inside. So what happens is all of the stuff from the moss farm and bone meal farm, technically it's a moss farm, comes down here. I've got little item sorters set up so that I can get the moss and the carpet and azalea trees and bushes and stuff, just because it'd be nice to be able to have those. The rest of that comes over here into a series of composters. And you can see as the lights light up, there's stuff going into the hoppers to be composted. And ultimately, they end up in these droppers, which I'm going to run into this waterway and ship them way over here to my base. Where I'm going to be building the smelter. Now, why bone meal? I will tell you about that as it gets closer to actually building that portion. But this is where things are sitting now, and so time to go over to the other side of this build and get started on that. So I'm down here. This is the lush cave under my base. There's the Bubble Vader and my geode. There's another geode over that way, but right over here, if I could get up, I say, up, there we go. Right over here, I've carved out a big hole. Now, you might be wondering, Pearl Stalker, why the heck are you building your furnace way down there when your base is way up there? And the reason is storage. See, the problem with running a bamboo-powered furnace array is that bamboo is hard to see through all the grass. Bamboo doesn't cook very well. It's actually a really lousy fuel source. So I want to be able to store a lot of it. Okay, and that means I'm going to need stacks and stacks of chests. Okay, it happens. I want to have plenty of fuel just buffered and ready to go when I decide I want to throw multiple stacks and shulker boxes of stuff into the furnace to cook. That's just how it works here. So the idea is I'm going to have the bone meal, right? I've got coming in from the moss farm. It's going to come in over this way, and it's going to feed a bone meal farm to help keep the bone meal growing. And then this right here is where the furnace array itself is going to go. And that is a drop chute leading up to my base. Now, let's see if I can get up here. All right, here I am. Right? You recognize the roof of my storage room, right? Yeah, so I was thinking about this. It's like, if I want to have the furnace way down low, what is the fastest way of getting stuff down there? Right? I could do things like minecart yeeting, which is cool. I could do double hopper stacks and stuff. Then I realized, why worry about all the redstone and all that stuff when I could just grab stuff and just yeet it down a hole, and it's going to end up down there. And that's going to be about as fast as it can go. So, also, I did not get my wings deployed, and that kind of hurt. Anyway, so that's the idea, is I'm going to just chuck stuff in there. It's going to come down here. These two torches are marking the marking where this square is, I think. Actually, I think I'm lined up over here now that I'm looking at it. I think this is going to be here. Anyway, so the drop chute's going to be here. I'm going to set up a collection system here for everything I drop down that will then feed into my furnace array. Okay? And I need to get this in first so that I can kind of see where I need to bring in and set up the bone meal farm. So that is the plan. And the first round of the furnace array is done. And as always, I tried to overcomplicate it and then just decided to go simple. So I mentioned I was just going to throw things down here, which works great. I was going to have this whole big redstone item splitter so things were distributed evenly. And the reality is I don't care that much. So what I did is I just threw a couple of pressure plates down here and a little water stream to make sure things end up on the pressure plates. And so when they drop down, the mine carts will pick all that stuff up. And then they pick up the next round. I've got a little burn down circuit just to keep the powered rails going. Because I've had a couple of times where they just wouldn't start again when they picked up the next round. So that's awesome. And I have a much larger array than I was thinking. So I'm going to have to go grind out some logs and stuff so I can have enough hoppers to feed fuel into this thing. But I think that's, I guess, step 2 on this project is complete. So now get the next round in, which is going to be the bamboo farm for the fuel. So this is going to be fun. Okay, so I'm up here high above the smelter array. This is where the bamboo is going to grow. And I've got the track in place here. As for all the bone meal is going to come in, this is what's going to feed all of this system. That bamboo will then get dispensed out into the bone meal will get dispensed into the bamboo, because that's how it actually works, because words are cool. So the bamboo will go. Now what I need to do is get under here and get hoppers in feeding into the storage. The way that's going to happen is with this tower right here, or actually lots of these towers. I'm going to run chests and hoppers all the way up. This gives me, I think it's 13 double chests of bamboo storage per furnace, which should be good. And then with the way the bamboo is going to feed this should be able to fill up relatively quickly. Certainly a lot faster than just having 18,000 bamboo plants. Okay, so should be good. Now what I'll do, once I get the bamboo in, and all of these built up, I'll glass this all in so that the bamboo won't escape this lovely little bottle I'm growing it in. And then that part should be good to go. And then so I'll get the bamboo planted, and I need to get all of these chests in. And man, this is going to be a grind. Oh, it's going to be crazy. I have one last thing I need to do, really minor. So here, let me free cam up. So I've got this drop tunnel. This is the tunnel that leads back to the moss farm and bamboo farm, right? So all the bone meal. I keep saying that, bamboo instead of bone meal. Yes, all the bone meal will drop down here, run through this water stream. Yeah, I think this way, and then down. will fall into this. And this is an item splitter. So it'll doesn't split items, split stacks actually. It'll evenly split everything that drops in between these two chests so that I'll evenly feed both sides here. So will that be perfect? No, because bamboo still grows and does its own magic, but you know, based off of random tick cycles and things. But this should take care of keeping this mostly centered. Now, the one issue I think there's going to be, and I haven't thought about trying to fix it yet, is I have 18 bamboo growing pods here, right? I don't know that I'm going to be getting 18 stacks of bone meal at a time. In fact, probably not. So what'll end up happening is that we'll feed all of these first. It's not great. And not finish up out there. So it'd be nice if I could have a little bit of a break or something to try to ensure I get maybe like full stacks of bone meal here. I don't know how I'm going to solve that. I may actually try solving that back at the other end and just push stacks out this way. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'll have to play with that. But for now, I'm going to grind chests forever. So if you're wondering why this video came out late, this is why. Well, here it is. A couple hours later, and I am falling off the hill, but there's bamboo storage. That's a lot of chests. It is a little, it's probably too much, but this should at least give me some fuel. And, you know, and if you count, okay, it's, I think 13 double chests. That means I can cook basically 3.5 double chests. It's like 7 shulker boxes per furnace, assuming the thing is totally full. So this should be able to handle all of my smelting needs from now until whenever. Now I just need to get the bamboo farm hooked up, and I think I need to hook up the clock that will really power those bamboo machines up there. I'm back over here at my moss and bone meal farm, and I mentioned I wanted to try to make sure the bone meal came in large groups, right? Like a stack. That should be large enough, I think, for what I need. So what I decided to do was change how the hoppers go here. They're all feeding into one dropper over there. My cat decides he wants to share about how this redstone works too, don't you? Don't you? Anyway, cute cats aside, the idea is when I get a stack of bone meal here in the dropper, or stack in a little bit more actually, lights up this comparator, comparing to another dropper with a stack at 20, and then that feeds into this big comparator burn down clock. And the idea is load the sucker up with bone meal, fires the piston, starts the observer clock, and then it starts spitting out bone meal. And the cool thing is, take just a minute, there you can see the clock stops. And now I've got bone meal full stack. So, and I think just a little bit more, but enough. So yeah, it means, all right, I'll have a little bit stuck in here, and that's fine. But when I get down to the far end, I'll always have what'll split down into 32 bone meal, which should feed across the furnaces back over there. So that's going to be awesome. Now I just need to let the water flow, and I need to get the waterways going all the way into the furnace. All right, I'm back over at the bone meal portion, or bone meal bamboo farm portion of the smelter, and I made a really, I should have seen this coming, to be honest, but I made a realization that the minecarts, the hopper minecarts I had running through here, collect faster than the hopper speed because they're hopper minecarts and they go really fast. So what's happening is they're picking up this bone meal before it fills up, and therefore pretty much only feeding these first 8 or 10 hoppers. So step 1 is to wire up a little bit of redstone here to basically, well, stop that from happening. To hang on to this, you know, it's easier if I had buckets. But to hang on to the bone meal, you know, fall. It's okay. And I will also finish the sentence at some point. But to hang on to this minecart until there's enough in the chest to go then run out and do stuff. So time to tear this thing apart and make sure it does what I want it to. Okay, well, I was thinking, yeah, this was going to be a much harder circuit than it is, but honestly, this is a huge chest. So I did some testing when I set up the other side, and basically, yeah, it's going to be like 9 stacks of bone meal is needed to get this set up and fill this minecart. So it'll be sitting there loading up. So actually the minecart will have like 5 stacks in it before this goes. So it'll buffer like crazy. But once it's done, this should rock on, and we'll fill each of these with a couple of bone meal each as it goes. So I think this is going to be good. So let me go ahead and get the mine carts in place, and then I'll go ahead and turn on the moss farm. Before I go heading off to do the next round of fun, which is to set up the collection system for the rest of the furnace. So again, nothing too crazy. Should be fun. All right, so here I am underneath my furnace array, and what I'm going to need to do is basically fill this sucker up with droppers. Now, the plan here is to take the droppers, they're going to get fed from the furnaces above them, right? Which is the whole point of having furnace arrays, to suck stuff out of it automatically. Also helps if you get hoppers in the right place, but deal with that in a minute. So we'll get that going, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dig a channel coming down this way. I've got a... Well, I had a shovel, and I've probably left it somewhere. Oh, there it is. Left it in my redstone box. That's cool. Anyway... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a nice water channel that's going to flow all the way through here, underneath this, and back down over here somewhere. I got to go double check the coordinates. Also, apparently on that fly through, it looks like I had a zombie I need to take care of. So I'll do that too. But the first step is going to be to get all of this stuff in. And then, of course, the other thing I'm going to have to do is get a clock going so that everything that gets sucked out of these furnaces and into these droppers gets fed into the water stream and will then get fed back towards my sorting system. So that's the next step. Oh, jeez, monkeys. I don't recall inviting you to this party. No. Grr and wowzers. Okay, no. No. And also, no. The hole is dug. Now I just need to bone meal this thing. Where's my bone meal? There we go. I just need to turn that into a bubble column going all the way up to the surface. I actually need it to go a little higher, I think, than it is up there, but... Oh no! I'm out of bone meal. Where am I at? -1. Oh, and I'm all the way up at, like, not 50 up there. I guess we're going to see how high we're going. All right. Okay, so not too much further, actually. So that's a good thing. All right, well, that's wonderful. So where am I at up here? 62 and it's -1. All right, well, cool. So really all I need is a little bit more bone meal and I can fill that out. So, all right, well, let me go get some bone meal and I can finish this. And I suppose the other thing I could do while I'm up here, and I've got a zillion hoppers, is get the collection system up here in place. Nice. So the bubble vader is set. Pops up, washes over the hoppers, which then go into this hopper line under here, which then feeds into the sorting system. This is going to make all sorts of sense to somebody someday in the future. I don't know if that somebody is going to be me, but at some point this is going to make sense. I hope. I hope this is going to make sense. I really hope so. Yeah, this is how it's going to work. So I've got these comparators, which you can't see because I can't jump, that are reading the droppers. So if you throw something in there, right, these light up. They trigger these repeaters just to be sure I've got signal strength to hit this clock. So as things come in, right, let's throw a little bit of smooth stone there. I don't want to have it just sitting without this little burn down clock. Otherwise, this piston's going to go back and forth, and that's going to suck. But it just shifts this observer over, fires off this clock, and it empties out the droppers. So that is awesome. And then all of the items from the droppers will float down here with the axolotl, apparently, and make their way here and then back up into the sorting system. So awesome. So that's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead now and just fill the rest of this in. And once that's done, this smelter should be complete. Sadly, I need to go get some more stone. So let me go do that and then I'll get this all finished up. So after a little bit of cleanup, I actually had some chests overlapping the minecart, so it was sucking bamboo and feeding them into the furnace, and bamboo doesn't cook very well. You can't smelt it, and it doesn't actually cook things very well, but when you have a lot of it, it's okay. So there it is, and it's been working great. Once I got all the bamboo out of the furnaces, you know, in the smelting spot, this started cooking, and all the stuff I had waiting for me was in there and good to go. So sweet. This is done. I now have a working smelter. To be a little bit careful where I throw stuff into it to be sure it lands for both minecarts, right? So that both of those guys pick up stuff. But the furnace itself, it is done and ready to go. So this is awesome. And man, I'll tell you, it is a relief. This took way longer than I wanted it to, but I am so glad it's done. So glad it's done. All right, that was awesome. Still have a little cleanup to do and some decorative stuff up top, but this is great. And apparently I'm punching moss. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. This has been fun. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more fun and excitement and absolute redstone derpage, because, yep, that is how things happen here. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Gaming signing off.